How's it going? Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. Baseball Records slugging percentage. Who is number one in the Baseball Hall of Fame with the highest career slugging percentage? Babe Ruth, 690. You should know that. Who's number two? I've got a list here of 169 players I ranked. 168 of them are in the Baseball Hall of Fame. One other player is not, Pete Rose, but I include him in the 169 I'm covering. Who's number two? Ted Williams, 634. Lou Gehrig is third, 632. Jimmy Fox, 609. And number five, Hank Greenberg, 605. Those are the five guys in the Baseball Hall of Fame with a career slugging percentage 600 or better. So I'm going through the 169 players. I'm listing their career slugging percentage and their high for a season. One player in the Baseball Hall of Fame had a slugging percentage over 800 in a season. Babe Ruth, and he did it twice. 847 one season and 846 the other. The only guy with 800 or better. As far as in the history of baseball, of the 20,000 ball players who have played, only one other guy has 800 or better with a minimum of over 100 games played. That's Barry Bonds. He had a slugging percentage one year of 863, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. Why? Because the stats are in question. That's the main reason. As far as what he did on the side, I don't know all the details. There's a report on enhanced drugs helping your performance. How much can we verify that it contributes to the stats? We don't know, but I do know this. Barry Bonds is the only other guy I could find in baseball history with a slugging percentage over 800 in a season, and he did it 863. You have to have minimum 100 games played, because in the Negro Leagues, there were players who went over 800. Josh Gibson, Mule Suttles. They had slugging percentages over 800, but they didn't play over 100 games in the season. Josh Gibson's in the Hall of Fame. Isn't it too bad that he didn't compete with the ball players of his era? He was in a separate league, and the stats in that league are in question because they're not all accurate. We don't know how many home runs Josh Gibson actually hit in his leagues. And what was his career slugging percentage? Anyways, I'm going through my list. There's a lot of players in the 500s slugging, which is good. I got all the way down to number 49, Triff Speaker, 500 on the nose slugging percentage career, and his high was 610. Let's go through the rest of these guys. The rest of these guys are under 500 slugging career. I don't think I need to list their career or their season best. It would take too long. But I will list their career slugging. Let's do that, okay? Because none of these guys had over 700. A few of them had over 600 slugging in a season. But there are only a few in the top 49 that went over 700. Ted Williams was one, Larry Walker, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Roger Hornsby, Stan Musial, Mickey Mantle, Frank Thomas, Hack Wilson, Jeff Bagwell, and Al Simmons all had seasons of over 700. But the rest of these guys on the list are in the 600s and the 500s as far as their best season of slugging. So let's go through number 50 on the list. Orlando Cepeda, 499. Larry Doby, 499. Roy Campanella, 498. Career slugging I'm doing, okay? Billy Williams, 492. Reggie Jackson, Scott Rowland, 490. Gabby Harnett, 489. George Brett, Gil Hodges, 487. Bill Dickey, Roger Connor, 486. Harold Baines, 485. Yogi Berra, Andre Dawson, 482. Al Kaline, Charlie Gehringer, 480. Henny Manouche, 479. Mickey Cochran, 478. Kirby Puckett, Jackie Robinson, 477. Eddie Murray, Johnny Bench, Tony Alima, 476. Roberto Clemente, Dave Winfield, 475. Kiki Kyler, 474. Paul Wainer, 473. George Sisler, Joe Cronin, 468. Tony Lazzaro, Hannes Wagner, 467. Joe Gordon, Nat Lajoie, 466. Ron Santo, Ivan Rodriguez, 464. Tony Perez, 463. Early Combs, 462. Bobby Dorr, Minnie Minoso, 461. Ernie Lombardi, 460. Tony Gwynn, 459. Carlton Fisk, 457. Buck Ewing, 456. Archie Vaughn, Ennis Slaughter, 453. Carl Yashkrimsky, Ryan Sandberg, George Kelly, and Sam Crawford, 452. Hugh Duffy, Joe Kelly, 451. Zach Wheat, 450. Fred Lindstrom, 449. Paul Molitor, 448. Cal Ripken, Cap Hansen, 447. Jesse Burkett, Ed Rouge, 446. Elmer Flick, 445. Barry Larkin, 444. Roberto Alomar, Wade Boggs, 443. Fred Baker, 442. Jim O'Rourke, Ross Youngs, 441. Derek Jeter, 440. Slugging. Gary Carter, 439. King Kelly, 438. Ted Simmons, 437. Jake Beckley, 436. Pie Trainer, 435. Reggie Jackson, Craig Biggio, Travis Jackson and Craig Biggio, 433. Billy Hamilton, Freddie Frisch, 432. Robin Yount, 430. Fred Clark, 429. Rod Carew, 429. Joe Morgan, Sam Rice, 427. Tim Raines, 425. Eddie Collins, 421. Ricky Henderson, 419. Willie Keeler, 415. All right, let's see here. Keeler, Alan Trammell, and Lou Bergeron, 415. George Kell, 414. Joe Sewell, 413. Covering Hall of Fame players only. And one who's not. Lou Brock, 410. Pete Rose, he's the guy who's not in the Hall of Fame. I got to cover him in my list. 409. Jimmy Collins, 409. Billy Herman, 407. Huey Jennings, 406. George Davis, 405. Brooks Robinson, 401. So that covers the guys in the 400s. A lot of guys in the 500s, 400s. A select few in the 600s. And Babe Ruth was almost 700. He was 690 slugging. All right, right now we're on number 145 of my 169 countdown. These guys are in the 300s. Luke Appling, 398. Fred Chance, 394. Lloyd Wayner and Deacon White, 393. Red Shashinsky, Harry Hooper, 387. Max Carey, 386. Richie Ashburn, 382. Okay, I did some 400s. Yeah, those are the 400s. Now we're in the 300s. Roger Brennahan, Pee Wee Reese, 377. Tommy McCarthy, 375. Sid McPhee, 373. Bill Mazeroski, 367. Nellie Fox, Rick Farrell, 363. Bobby Wallace, 358. Dave Bancroft, 358. Phil Rizzuto, 355. Joe Tinker, 353. Louis Aparicio, 343. John Ward, 341. Rabbit Marinville, 340. Johnny Evers, 334. Ozzie Smith, 328. And Ray Chalk, 316. He's the last guy on the list. The ball player with the lowest slugging percentage in the Baseball Hall of Fame position player is Ray Chalk at 316. I told you number one was Babe Ruth at 690, right? What's that divided by? If you divide 690 divided by half, that's a 345 slugging percentage. Yet Ray Chalk had a career 316. Babe Ruth had a slugging percentage twice that of Ray Chalk. How about that? That covers slugging percentage and baseball records. Interesting stat. You combine the doubles, triples, and home runs, you add them up, and it becomes your percentage of slugging. How many bases you're getting per at bat. Sluggers. 169 of them, I'm covering them. And who's the greatest slugger of all time? You got to give it to Babe Ruth. 690 career, and he had 2 seasons of over 800 slugging for the season. Number 2, Ted Williams, but he never got the 800 slugging. His high was 735. Number 3 is Lou Gehrig, 632 career, and his high was 765. So who had the second best slugging percentage in a season in the Baseball Hall of Fame? Who's number 2, the best season? Lou Gehrig, 765. Jimmy Fox, career 609. His high was 749. And Hank Greenberg, 605, but he never had a 700. He had a 684, his high. The other guys who had 700 or better in a season. Roger Hornsby, 756. He's number 3 as far as best season slugging. You have Larry Walker at 720. Mickey Mantle had a 705. How about that? Stan Musial had a 702. Frank Thomas had a 730. He's new school. Hack Wilson, 723. Jeff Bagwell had a 750. Woo! And the other guy who had a 700, Al Simmons, 708. The rest of the guys after that are in the 600s. Then you get the 500s. Did I mention that the best season for Ray Chalk? Now his career was 316 slugging. His best season was 371. Not very good. You need to have a slugging of 500 or better to be significant as far as a slugger. So Ray Chalk, Ozzie Smith, Rabbit Marinville, those are the 3 guys in the Baseball Hall of Fame with slugging percentage under 400. Ray Chalk's best was 371. Ozzie Smith's best was 383. And Rabbit Marinville's best was 399. They couldn't get over 400 in a season as far as their best. And they're the only guys with 300 or under 400 slugging in a season. A lot of other guys had 400 seasons. Some got into the 500s. A significant number got into the 600 as far as their seasons, 600 slugging. There was one guy, Hugh Duffy, He had a 693 as his high. Just missed out on 700. So Hugh Duffy had a good slugger season. Ivan Rodriguez had a 667, his high. Some of these other guys. Did you know that George Brett had a 664, his high? How about this guy, Sam Thompson, 696, just missed out on 700. Slugging. Would you like to be a slugger? I would. Babe Ruth stands out as the #1 greatest slugger of all time in baseball history. Better than Josh Gibson. Even though Gibson, 1 year, they say Josh Gibson in the Negro Leagues had a 9, I'm going to look it up for you, all right? Let's go to Josh Gibson. Just wish he had played with all the other guys in that era. Why not? Josh Gibson. Let's see. I'll pull him up here. Here he is. Got him. Josh Gibson. Career. Here he is. Josh. Listen to this. Josh Gibson, 1 year, had a slugging of 974. That would have beat all records anywhere. But here's the problem. He played 39 games. That's not enough games. If he had 100 or more games, or 150 game season like Babe Ruth did, and had a 917, that would shatter all records. He had a 974. He had an 824. That year he played 27 games. See, not enough. He also had an 867. He played 69 games that year. Josh Gibson. If you go to Baseball Reference, his career slugging percentage is .718. That would have beat Babe Ruth's 690. But the problem is, he only had 602 career games, where Babe Ruth had 2,500 games. See? How come they only have stats for 602 games? Didn't he play a long time? Oh man, they say he hit 80 home runs 1 year. I wish it was true, and that would be the record. But we don't have the official stats from those Negro League plays, and him not playing in the major leagues is a travesty. Where was the commissioner? Where was the president of the United States? Where was Congress to say, wait a minute, let the Negro Leagues play with the American and National and American Leagues, combine them all so we can have all this talent playing. What a disgrace. I blame the commissioner of baseball. I blame the president of the United States. Those presidents during that era where they excluded the Negro Leagues from playing in the National and American Leagues. I blame that. I blame the Congress. Where are the Democrats and the Republicans there voicing their opinion and saying, what's going on with baseball? I would have loved to have seen Josh Gibson play along Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig against them or on the same team. I would have loved it. I would have loved to have seen Satchel Paige play, wouldn't you? Eventually, Satchel Paige did get into the American League, played for the Cleveland Indians, pitched, but I think he was in his 40s. I think he was 48, but he got going. It's too late. They say Satchel Paige won 2,000 ball games. Come on. We don't have the stats. They also say he had 100 no-hitters. I don't know about that. Anyway, that covers slugging. Baseball records. Next, I'm going to do On Base. That's an interesting record, too. We'll get into it. Thanks for looking. I'm out.